go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Presented by Scott Credit Union. Your St. Louis
BlueNote Fan Report. Aloha and mahalo. I am Gary, the Hawaii Blues fan, and I am in the playoffs. Yes, I am. We'll talk about that. It is a Monday. What's on your mind version of the BlueNote Fan Report. Kind of had a mental day. Didn't feel like I could go out and drive and just other things. Maybe I'll go do some driving tonight. But at the moment, I thought I'd come on, do a show, talk to you, talk to, all my people. Talk to my people, and I'm in the playoffs. I snuck into the playoffs by 2 points. 2 points on the last day. I made one good decision all season long. Well, more than one good decision, but a perfect decision at the right time, and I snuck into the playoffs. Now, I had an opponent who had no goalie, and that helped. But even with Bennington not getting me a win, I still was able to win the week and win it big enough to sneak in. I was 11 points behind. 11 points behind. And I snuck in by 2 points. Now I'm playing the Avalanche, the number one team in the league, in the first round, and they're probably going to destroy me. Right now, I am down 6-5. He has me. I have him in goals. He has me in assists and in points. I have him in penalty minutes, 0-2. I have him in shots and goal, 8-7. Hits, I'm up 3-0. He's got me in takeaways, 3-0. Face-off wins, I've got him 1-0. And then he's winning all four of the goalie categories because I haven't had a goalie start yet. But I'll get that, should get that tomorrow when Bennington takes on hopingly, Bennington will take on the Colorado. Man, I'm just the Arizona Coyotes. I just can't spit it out, man. Where's all my commenters today? Not one effing comment from any of you. Sammy Helms, hey Sammy, how are you? Oh yeah, Colton be like leading the league in own goals. Oh my goodness, would he be leading the league in own goals? Oh wow, man, I just saw Marchment from Dallas. He just took one right. He took two. He took one on the left, on the shin, right, like halfway up on the bone, and then turned around on his right and took one after he took that one. Wow, ouch, that hurts, man. Colton Parayko is an enigma, right? This is a big guy with a big shot that has a big heart that prevents him from being a big player. And I don't know how to fix that. I really don't. When he had, and I've heard this before, and I'm starting to agree with it, when he was with Pietrangelo kind of took some of that away. He was kind of that. But at the same time, Pietrangelo's the guy that let Jamie Benn sit on him, put his glove in his face, and do nothing about it. What did that say to Parayko? Oh, it's okay. It's okay to not be mean. It's okay to use your body. It's okay to let other teams do things like that to you. And that kind of shit concerns me. right? It really does. And I got to put this out too. So to my podcast, if you know someone that does a podcast like I do, and they are looking for a soundboard, my Rodecaster Pro, my original Procaster 1, is probably going to be on sale. I'm sending it off next week or this week to get refurbished, and I think I'm going to upgrade, even though the upgrade is very expensive. I will probably be selling mine. Golf King, I haven't seen you in a while. Not everyone is I don't want him to be Pronger. He doesn't have to be Pronger. But he's got to use his body. He's got to use that shot. Right? He has to. He's getting paid $6.5 million to do his job, and he's not doing his job. Right? When I didn't do my job, I got fired. I no longer had a job. Right? No, well, Golf King, what does he do then? Because right now, he's not a defenseman. Danny, it is a What's on Your Mind Monday. I'm kind of talking about Colton Parayko right now, but I'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Golf King, then tell me what he's supposed to do, because in my mind, he's not earning that $6.5 million, and we got to pay him for the next 7 years. 7. Count them. 7 years. I don't want to be paying him $6.5 million for 7 years of him not doing his job, of not keeping the puck in the zone, or of not getting the puck out of the zone, of not stopping the puck from going in the net and putting the puck in the net. Right? He needs to be a plus player, not a minus player. He scored almost as many goals for the opposition as half of our guys have scored goals for us. You know what? See, you're right. In your mind, the season is over, and I get that. For me, this season sets up next season. And I'm not going to sit there and just go, oh, well, I don't care how they play. Right? I'm not going to do that. Because if you're doing that, you're just not I don't want to. Boy, I may need to get back on my meds. I think that's an obvious. Oh, good save. My guy's got Ottinger in net, so I really need Ottinger to give up big goals. Lots of goals. Come on, someone really score on Ottinger and make the saves. I'm not sold on the draft, man. I'm not sold on the draft at all. I really am not. Hate to see O'Reilly hurt, but he's not used to the Maple Leafs right now. Yeah, but he's going to be there when they come back to the playoffs. It's just a broken finger. I mean, they're going to figure out how to get him back on the ice as soon as possible. Which I hope is soon, because he's on my fantasy team. I already have too many guys on the IR right now. Well, Golf King, here's the first thing. Why are we rebuilding? That is the question that nobody wants to ask. First of all, why are we even rebuilding? And second of all, I think you rebuild much better through free agency and the minor leagues. Right? If you're going to rebuild, to me, you get guys that are NHL ready now in the minors, not guys that are going to be NHL ready 3 or 4 years from now that may be NHL ready. Right? I don't think there's one guarantee in this draft. There isn't one. There isn't one guy out there, including Connor Bedard, that you can go, he's going to be a superstar no matter what. I don't think Bedard is. Bedard has some huge weaknesses that nobody looks at, that get covered up. How many? I got to ask a question. I know I got some movie buffs in here. If I were to ask you what is a good baseball movie that's come out in the past, I'd say 10 to 15 years, I want to see what baseball movies you guys will name. I want to see if somebody will name the movie I'm thinking of. Right? Danny, I hope so. They played decent this weekend. What I got to watch, but overall it was not. They have some defensive issues. They have some big defensive issues. Okay, Ryan. Ryan's almost home to watch the show, to give me the shit that he always does. Right? I think that there's now look, I know I'm not a GM. I get that. I get that I am not an NHL GM. I get that I haven't been around the game like a lot of these guys have. I get that I'm a talking head or a fan or a fanboy, whatever you want to call me, that's fine. However, I look at the NHL and I see a lot of archaic thinking. I really do. Right? And if you want to know why I see it and why I believe that there are people out there, I got to hand it to one guy right now. Well, actually, no, wrong guy. I originally thought that Vegas made a huge mistake. I mean, they were forced into it, but they went with it anyways. I no longer think it's a mistake. I think that they had a solid plan, that they're continuing to use it. Oh, wow. Dallas has already taken 17 shots. I'm glad Calgary's only taken, or no, probably Calgary's taken 17 shots. Calgary, I need you to score on them 17. Score a lot more on them 17 shots. I need a lot more scores, Calgary. Come on. Come on, Calgary. Well, it's going to be at least half full because they went to the second level, right? It's going to be half full. I don't think they'll get to the third level, right? So back to what I was talking about is I easily got distracted. I'm sorry. Really distracted. Vegas needed to win now. They had to. Vegas did not have a hockey market. They did not have the time to teach their fans how to win. Oh, they did open it. I heard they only opened the 200s. Right? I heard they originally only opened the 200s, that they hadn't gone into the 300s yet. I liked I think that the Battlehawks should be playing in the same type of stadium that the Defenders played in. They played in the MLS arena. Could you imagine those guys in that little pack, in that little bit in City Arena, back in that place? Oh my goodness! Now that's where a football game should be played, right? Either football or football, whichever way you want to say it. Vegas had to teach their fans how to win now. They could not teach them. They could not teach them how to win. They had to, or teach them how to lose. They had to teach them how to win. They had to make sure that they were getting more fans in that building than the opposing team, and it took them a bit. But they went and got guys in the expansion draft. They got older guys. They got guys that were going to the cast-offs, the guys that they knew could help them win now. Right? Isn't that like 40,000, 45,000? I mean, that's the same size as the baseball arena. I think that's perfect. I'd rather fill out 45 than half fill up 75. Right? I just got a thing from my buddy there, from my Hawaii buddy, man. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Bolduc. I think I'm saying that right. Let me see. Bobak. Thank you, Bobak. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for watching. Hey, Jason Nichols, Sammy Helms, you put that thumb in the air. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Vegas taught their fans how to win. They could not afford to teach them how to lose. So they had a 3 to 4 year, 4 or 5 year period of making the playoffs, right? Of making the playoffs. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals once. They went to, I want to say I don't think they made the, I don't think that they made the, I don't think they made the conference finals. They've been to the second round. They've gotten back until they finally got left out. What are you saying? Yes, it was, Golf King. I'm not sure there, bud. Vegas missed the playoffs last year, but then they slightly retooled, and came back this year. Right now, they've got some questions to ask. They've got some issues with salaries and things like that they're going to have to deal with. But they're being creative in dealing with them in ways that are keeping them relevant. They are thinking outside of the NHL box. Now, now you have Seattle. Seattle went the opposite direction a bit. Seattle went for young guys. Now, this is the one thing that I keep hearing so much about with Seattle. They did trade some guys away, and they didn't re-sign some guys. So I mean, but they've they've made Pietrangelo and Stone their stars, right? Danny, I think it holds more than that. I really do. I'll have to look that up. See, now you got me. Now you got me curious. Here we go. I'm pulling it up. City Park. Oh, wow, you're right. 22,500. Okay. I thought it was bigger than that. Right. Well, there we go. Oh, I'm looking at some stuff on City Park. Okay, I was wrong. 22.5. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. It is 22.5. Right. Yep. Where are we at? Golf King says, maybe I've seen so many Blues fans run their mouth and we deserve some. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Golf King. No, a lot of Blues fans are running their mouths. Are you talking about me? Right? Are you talking about me? I don't know. It's actually a little more than Enterprise. Enterprise is at 19,000. I think Enterprise is just under 19,000. I can look that up while you're bullshitting. Enterprise Center holds 18,096. Right? 18,096. That's it seated, but I know that they will do what do you call it? Standing room only too. I know they have some SRO areas. Uh-oh, who popped in? Oh my goodness, he got it. I didn't have to do it. Now, before I bring him on, and don't bring yourself on because you can do that now. I got an update from StreamYard, and I'm now able to have 4 people that I can make as co-hosts or admins. Ashley has been an admin for a while. I have wanted to do this, but I couldn't afford to do it. But since they upped me, we now have permanently in our group as a co-host, please welcome the one, the only, the Mr. Lance the Drop the Scott. Hey, Lance man, how are you doing, my friend? Uh-oh. We're not hearing you, bud. Not hearing you. You're not muted, so it's got to be something on your end. Man, that was a good introduction, too, wasn't it? Wasn't that a good introduction? He heard me. He was like, yeah, Justin Mullins, thanks for putting that thumb in the air. Danny Johnson, where's that thumb? All those others watching me on Facebook, where's that thumb? Shockey, where's that thumb? Where's that thumb? Jose, where's that thumb? I don't want to say he's the permanent, but he can come into any show that he wants. So I don't have to send him a link anymore. So he still has his own show. He still does the drop. He doesn't do it regularly, but he still does it. So he has that. Annie Johnson, Jose Figueres, Ashley. Ashley, where are you, Ashley? Ashley, get on. Nope, still not getting you, bud. Okay, well, no, you, hold on, Lance. Now you're muted. Try it again, Lance. Try it again. You were muted. Nope, not hearing you. Nope. So while Lance is still working on that, we'll let him work. You might have to make sure in settings that you got the right mic set picked. Okay, well, then I don't know what to tell you, but you can go out, and when you come back, just come back on your own, okay? He can just pop back in on his own now. Oh, I lost where I'm at. You got it now? Nope. Okay, he'll get in there. You've been practicing slap shots? Where is Slapshot? I seen her liking the show. Come on, Slapshot, get in here. Chris Shockey, Ashley Jones, Danny Johnson, Jose Figueres, Justin Mullins, Jason Nichols, and Sammy Helms. Thank you so much for them thumbs in the air. I so appreciate it. It means so much to me that you like and watch this show on a regular basis. Yeah, got it working? Yeah, we're not hearing you, bud. We are not hearing you. Yeah, I don't know, bud. So maybe he'll be able to get that fixed. So where was I at? Okay, I was talking about what Vegas did and then what Seattle did. Now, Seattle went with younger guys, and this is what everyone sits there and uses and goes, well, see, the Blues didn't want, Tarasenko didn't want to be here, and the Blues didn't want him because they left him unprotected. Guys, Alexander Ovechkin got left unprotected. Carey Price got left unprotected. There were a lot of high-profile guys that got left unprotected. And if you want to sit there and realize how messed up things are, look at what Jaden Schwartz did to the Blues. Jaden Schwartz absolutely screwed the Blues over. Completely, 100% screwed the Blues over. Right? Oh, you know what? I wonder if those weren't hey, Lance, if you're listening, that might have been my issue, not yours. You might want to try and come back on. Oh, by the way, Ryan Green, are you back here yet? I wanted to show you something. Oh, thank you. Okay, so Schwartz pretty much told the Blues that he did not want to re-sign with them. Right? He went to Seattle, and before the expansion draft, had free agent meetings with Seattle. Seattle had the opportunity to meet with free agents before everybody else and offer them contracts. If they took the contract, that would be that team's draft pick. Well, Schwartz, they offered Schwartz the contract. He didn't take it. So he wasn't the Blues draft pick. They got the draft done and then signed Schwartz. I thought the NHL should have had a huge issue with that and given Dunn back to St. Louis. I absolutely felt, because he signed that contract like 9 minutes after the, at midnight when it opened, he signed it like at 12:09. Yeah, hopefully it does. Hopefully by playoff times they're going to be back. We'll see. That I thought the NHL should have absolutely looked into that a lot more than what they did. Let me message Lance. I may have had mine muted, not knowing it was muted. I don't know. I don't know if I had him muted on my end. We'll find out. See if I can get him to come back. Okay. No, pending UFAs were allowed in the expansion draft because Carey Price went in the expansion draft. Alexander Ovechkin went in the expansion draft. You could put them in the expansion draft, right? You absolutely could. And yes, I'm 100% sure about this. They were allowed to negotiate 2 days early with free agents. I am 100% positive on this. You can go look it up, right? You can go look it up. I've heard that too. I don't think Atlanta is the right spot. I actually think Atlanta is a huge mistake. So let's see now if this is going to work. Can you hear me, Lance?
Yep.
Oh, see, you know what? I think it was on my end.
Oh, okay.
Did you change something on your end?
I changed something I already tried to change, so it may have been on your end.
Yeah, I think I might have had you muted out on my side, on my sound.
Okay. All right.
Right? No, it's my soundboard has had some issues here. I'm going to send it out and get it repaired, and I think I'm going to buy the new Rodecaster 2.
Yeah, I from what people have telling me, there's been more problems with the 1 than the 2, and the 2 they fixed all the problems, and it really sounds even better than the 1.
Well, have you seen the 2?
Yep.
It is freaking awesome. My only question is, does it take SLR? Because I look at the back of it, right? You know, where you plug your mic into, and it doesn't look like it would take like it would take this type of connection.
The XLR?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Oh, does that black piece go in when you plug it in? Does it push in then?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what happened. It pushes because I don't see the holes on it.
No. All you see on the back is a rubber piece that, and it does have a little hole in it, and when you press it in, it presses into the prongs. And hooks right up. Yeah.
Okay, so that presses in, and then the prongs come out.
Yep.
Okay, well that's what I didn't understand and wasn't sure of. That's
Hey,
why I wasn't sure if I was gonna. I want to buy it, but it's expensive, man.
Yeah. I guess what though? I found a guy on eBay.
Yeah.
Bought it, used it once, realized it was too much for him, and I think they're $8.99 or $9.99. He wants $5.99 for it.
They're $7.99. The only thing with that is I'm not buying like this one. I paid $100 and something for the 3-year warranty.
Yep.
Right. And now mine's going to get repaired.
Yep.
Because I have that warranty. So if I get one, I want it new with that warranty.
Yep. Yeah. And you can also buy an aftermarket warranty through Allstate. Allstate sells those warranties, and it's like $99 for 2 or 3 years.
Let's see. So he says teams could protect 8 skaters and a goaltender, or 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goaltender. And they had to expose at least 2 forwards and 1 defenseman who were under contract for 2021-22 season and played at least 27 games in the. Yeah, okay. on more than 54 games. Teams also had to, but that doesn't, it's still, and so that's right there saying that I'm right, that they could, during the Seattle expansion draft, Lance, you can back me up on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle was allowed to negotiate with UFAs 2 days earlier than everybody else.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
2 days earlier than everybody else. They negotiated with Jaden Schwartz. And Jaden Schwartz did not sign a contract with them. They did their expansion draft. They took Dunn. The very next day, Schwartz was under
it wasn't the very next day. It was at 12:01 a.m. 1 minute.
12:01. He signed. I mean, as soon as it hit, he signed that contract. To me, the NHL should have investigated that. He should have counted. Jaden Schwartz should have counted. You know what? He was until the free agency went. He was considered under contract. Until that free agent period started, the signing period, he was still considered under contract, just like Ovechkin was.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just like Ovechkin was. Right, Jose? I'm a 1 billion% positive on this. 1 billion% positive. Hey, Ash, how you doing?
I'm all right, but you're not going to hear me very well.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you decently.
I have to go through the webcam mic.
We can hear you.
Your headset mic's not working good?
Nope.
No, well, I'm gonna if I don't go by. Well, I want to talk to you about this offline. I'm going to be selling my Rode One, my soundboard. So if there's something we can work out, I would rather you get it. But I have an amount that I have to get on it. So we can work something out, I think. So I'll let you figure that out. Well, we can figure that out. So
hey, real quick, do you guys like my logo up there?
Yeah, I do. I see
like
that.
It.
Yeah. We need to get a Hawaii Blues fan or a BlueNote Fan Report logo so we can put that up there too. Yeah. Yes, I am absolutely suggesting that there was tampering by Schwartz and the Kraken. And the NHL just said they were okay with it. Somebody's mad. Are you okay, Ash?
Yes.
No, absolutely. That should have been invested. The NHL should not have allowed that. In my eyes, any free agent that they talked to that did not sign prior to the expansion draft, they should have had to wait 2 weeks before they could re-sign them. Right? Because that way, there's no guarantee that there's another offer that could have come by. No, because I do think that absolutely set up for what happened. The Blues lost 2 players.
Yeah, hold on real quick. Jose says, but Schwartz wasn't under contract. That's right. He was a free agent. No.
He was under contract. He did not become a free agent until the new league year started. That was at 12:01 midnight that night.
No, he's saying the following season, the 21-22, he wasn't under contract. That's what he's saying, and he's right on that. And I'm going to tell you something else. Vegas did something very similar, and I can't remember what player it was. They were given a couple days ahead of time just to talk to players, and I can't remember what team it was. And
Vegas had a real huge opportunity. Yeah, Vegas was allowed to trade. Or draft picks to not draft somebody.
Yep.
Right? So teams could leave guys unprotected. Pittsburgh did this. Pittsburgh traded away 2 picks, either a 3rd round and a 5th round, to unprotect a couple of guys that they didn't want picked so they could protect other guys. Vegas absolutely are and they changed that. The change they made was that they couldn't do those draft pick changes, but they could go with talk to UFAs ahead of the start of the league year. Right? So in all actuality, Tarasenko, O'Reilly, Barbashev, Akari, they're under contract until, and I don't know the date of the league year, whatever that date is, the date that the league year starts at midnight, they are under contract till that point. Once they hit that point, then they are no longer under contract. You cannot negotiate with them until that point. Now, it happens all the time
Yep.
that teams do negotiate. Now, what I understood, the NHL has eliminated the pre-negotiating period. There used to be like 2 days ahead, you could negotiate.
Yep.
The
Yep.
deals would get agreed to and then signed at 12:01.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well,
Kind of last minute, Matt Lowe. I didn't feel like driving today, so I thought I'd come on and do a show because I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do a show tomorrow. I should do a show tomorrow. I get this thing off tomorrow.
Cool.
I am so ecstatic.
Well, there was rumors from some of my sources going around that even the week before they were allowed to talk to Schwartz, that Seattle was already talking to his agent.
Lance, here's a question for you, my friend. No, Jose, you're missing something here. What does Lance think that Varna can do with this Blues team?
I think it's a crapshoot. One thing that frustrates me about this, and the Blues could have made moves. I know people are going to say they didn't have any cap, but they could have done something. They could have got him for free when Detroit put him on waivers. And nobody, and I mean nobody, put a waiver claim on him. What does that tell you guys? That tells you that not a lot of no team thought he was good enough to take a chance on. Now, I know what the Blues are trying to do. They're trying to fill the roster because they know they're not going to be good for probably 2 to 3 years. And that's just the way it is. I don't hate the guy, just like I don't hate Kapanen. But the way the Blues are presenting these guys, oh, he's fast. He's got, like Kapanen, great skill. He's a top player. No, he's not a top player. And Varna, he can be good if he gets his head straight and his substance abuse problem, which was drugs, and he can get that done and taken care of. I think he could be a 15, 20 goal guy. I don't doubt that in one bit he could be that next year. I don't think the Blues have any plans trading him or keeping him after next year when his contract's up. But if he's a stopgap and he can give him 15, 20 goals next year, maybe 3 or 4 the end of this year, I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get something here.
I mean, I don't really have a different opinion than Lance on that. It's a crapshoot I hate to say it, when you're dealing with addiction. That's why other teams didn't want to grab him, is because it's such a hard thing to battle. So even going into the players, what's it called? It doesn't mean that he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Assistance program.
Yes. Some players go into the players assistance program and they come out okay, but I try to look through the history of guys that went through that program.
It's still a crapshoot.
Yeah, guys that went through that program and came out and played great. I can't find any.
I want to address this,
Jake
Jose.
Allen's I know of.
Yeah, probably.
You're missing what I'm saying. So
no,
let me go back.
Saying. That's not what he's saying.
That season, before Schwartz was able to sign with any team, 2 days before, the Seattle Kraken were allowed to negotiate with UFAs. They got their first crack at UFAs. One of the UFAs they talked to was Jaden Schwartz. If they would have signed Jaden Schwartz during that open period, but prior to the draft, Jaden Schwartz would have counted as the Blues draft pick.
And the Blues keep done.
And the Blues keep done. They would have been off the draft board. Right? Mm-hmm. Jaden Schwartz didn't sign. What they did do is agreed to a contract, waited a couple of days. The Seattle draft's done, and then at 12:01 of free agency, signed Schwartz. That should have been investigated. They had a deal in place prior to. They had to have, because after the draft, they couldn't talk to anybody. So prior to that draft, they had a deal in place with Schwartz that they waited 2 days for him to sign, and then and still take done. That is what happened. So yes, that is how Schwartz and the Kraken screwed the Blues, and it's been talked about by other people too.
Yeah, and
I'm not the only one that's brought this up. I know that a couple of the media members
they have
brought this up.
Yeah, and you know what? If the Kraken weren't idiots, and I would say this was an idiotic move, so there would be no question, they could have had an under-the-table deal agreed upon, and a day and a half later announced that they signed Schwartz. Instead, they did it like I think it was somewhere between 12:01 and 12:15.
I think it was like 12:07.
Yeah, you knew the contract had already been discussed.
Yeah. Right, but it was so close. I think that they should have put something out there that if you talk to a free agent, you couldn't sign him for 1 week after the free agency opened. Any free agent that you talk to, you should have had to wait at least a week, right? Because that way, other teams could have come in and basically, offered him something else, but it wouldn't have looked like it did. So yes, Jaden Schwartz and the Kraken, using the league, using the rules, screwed the Blues.
And I'll tell you another thing is that they got away with it because they're the expansion team, number one, and the Blues really didn't put up a fuss because the Blues weren't going to re-sign Jaden Schwartz anyway, and the Blues didn't mind losing Vince Dunn. Now, the only part of losing Vince Dunn that I minded was his offensive play. I've always thought Vince Dunn is the smaller, typical offensive type, Shattenkirk type of a guy. Since he's went to Seattle, he's gotten a little better defensively after his first season there because he was still struggling his first season. He's much better defensively now, and he's still being good offensively.
Yeah, no, I'm with there. Dunn
So,
and Wallman,
can I get a little
was big.
backstory
I
on
like
how
Wallman
we
too,
were
but
on this
actually
topic?
Dunn's done. Oh, go ahead, Ash. I'm sorry.
How are we on this topic? I mean, this was 2 years ago.
Because I was talking about different, things that had happened with the Blues and the way that things were done in the rebuild. Right? Someone asking me, I like that we got all these draft picks. How else do you rebuild? I think the way you rebuild isn't through the draft. I think the draft you talk about a crapshoot. I think the draft is an absolute crapshoot.
It's
you know what
huge
I'd rather
crapshoot.
do? I'd rather trade my picks for guys that are NHL ready right now. Minor league guys that are ready to come into the NHL. Top prospects that are NHL ready right now. That is how I think you do the rebuild. This isn't a team that you need to start from scratch. You have real good, solid talent on this team right now. And if you don't, if you build it through the draft, you're hurting that talent. You're taking that talent. You're taking some of the prime years away from that talent. That's how this all got started.
Okay.
And I bet nobody agrees with me.
No, Guy, you've heard me say this before. Everybody said, let's tank for Bedard. Let's tank and get a top 5 pick. Then we're guaranteed to get a great NHL player. And like I've told you before, last year and the year before, I've went through all the top 10 picks in the last 10 years. You'd be surprised at how many of them, A, never made the NHL, never played a single game, B, played a few games and are now in the AHL or overseas, and C, they're just okay players. There's a ton of them. Just because a guy's a top pick or they say he's great, even Bedard, I'm trying to calm people down over him. Look at the room he has to move in juniors.
And he's not even the fastest player.
He's not. That room will not be there in the NHL. It won't. And a lot of those moves he makes, he won't be able to make those in the NHL. Could the guy be great? Yes, but I just don't like it when somebody says he's a guaranteed generational talent.
Well, not only that, look at the number 1 pick from 2 years ago. I think he's still in college.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right? He hasn't even come up yet. Right? You look at Bolduc. Bolduc's still in the minors. He's 20 years old. You got a 20-year-old kid still in the minors.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, are in the juniors, not minors, in the juniors. Right? That to me is kind of an issue. Snugard is still playing in college, and I could see him doing another year in college. Right? I think Snugard's in college, right?
Snuggie? I think Snuggie is still in college. Instead of calling him
I'm pretty sure he is. I'm going to look him
Yeah.
up here real quick.
I just call him Snuggie because Snuggarood's too hard to say.
Yeah, Snuggerud. Yeah, he's with the Golden Gophers.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Right, and I can kind of see him still playing with the Gophers next year. Right, I don't know. I don't see him coming. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't see it. Their season's not over yet. So, but if he signs his entry level contract as soon as this season's over, then yeah, we got him. If not, he's going to do another year.
Mm-hmm.
Gophers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as sold on the draft as everyone else is.
Yeah, I will tell you this: a guy that I would take a chance at, and I know even the KHL. The KHL to me is more like the AHL than it is the NHL. But Matvey Michkov, I guess that's how you say it. He's a guy I'd like to see somebody take because I think he's so much better than anybody in the KHL, and he's really, really good. If I was like a number 2 or 3 guy, I would take him. There's people are saying because it's Russia and because of the war that nobody's going to take him to the 15th or 20th pick. I don't care. I would take him. If you don't get him for 2 or 3 years, that's great. But he's going to be a good player. He's really going to be a really, really good player. People are saying that he's the best prospect out of Russia since Ovechkin. I might agree with that a little bit, but I think he's one of the few KHL players that his game is more like the NHL game. And a team that gets him, I think, is going to be doing pretty well. But, Bedard could be good. But, Chicago's saying he's our savior. He's going to get us back to the cup in 2 to 3 years. No, he's not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Bedard right now. I know everybody else is. I know Bedard. I'm just not sold on it. And even, like, I tried to watch him play the other night. I just was like, not overwhelming me. He's not, I'm not like watching him going, even against, man against boys, it's not like it was jaw dropping to me. Right? Come on, Calgary. I made the playoffs in my fantasy league. I snuck in by 2 points. 2 points. I was in 17th place, 11 points out going into the last week of the season, and I ended up catching a guy that didn't have a goalie and had a lot of minor leaguers, didn't have, and I ended up sneaking in and beating the team, picking up and sneaking in by 2 points. That means I get the number 1 team in the league, and he's got Ottinger starting tonight. So if Bennington can have a good game if Ottinger gets beat tonight, which he is right now, and Bennington can have a good game, yay me.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember the other night I was talking about an Avalanche player that the Blues signed to an AHL contract a couple years ago, and he was supposed to be a top, not a generational talent, but a top player in the league? I figured out who it was.
No, I don't.
It was Connor Bleakley. He was picked in the first round, 23rd overall in 2014.
Yeah.
And they said he was going to be a constant 25 to 30 goal scorer, and he never amounted to a hill of beans. Never.
One of the things in that WHL that why I don't think he's going to be a difference maker is speed.
Yep.
He does not have the speed.
I don't think in the skills competition was he in the. I think he was like 8th to 11th in the skills competition.
17th.
Yeah, he doesn't have the speed and all that juking and moving around. It's not going to happen in the NHL.
Yeah, he's not.
I
don't think he's not going to have the room.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't. And especially think about this. He's going to go to a team at the bottom with no talent
Around him.
And he's going to be playing against teams full of talent. The exact opposite of what's happening in the WHL.
Mm-hmm.
The exact opposite. So that's my thing with him. When Connor McDavid was in the WHL or in juniors, his speed was so obvious. His speed, how fast he was. He blew past guy. I mean, that was draw dropping. Yeah. How fast he was, how quick he got from blue line to blue line.
I went back and I watched McKinnon, I watched McDavid, and I watch Bedard, McKinnon and McDavid were better in juniors than Bedard is right now. So I don't know how people can say he's a generational, once-in-a-lifetime talent. The other two, if you watch their games, much better than Bedard.
I don't think he's going to be a Yakupov, but
No.
Okay, Ashley had to go. Thanks, Ash. Thanks for joining us tonight. I don't think he's going to be a Yakupov.
I don't either,
he's going to be much better than that. But
here's the problem. Bedard loves the game, and he wants to play the game. Yakupov didn't love the game. He did it for just money, and he didn't really care.
It's all verbal diarrhea with Bedard. I thought you were talking about me. No, I'm not sold on him. And I think, you know who I think Bedard's going to be? Johnson. Eric Johnson. That's who I think Bedard's going to be. A good NHL player, but nowhere near worthy of the #1 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's where I think he's going to. And look at Shane. See, this is the thing that I talk about last season. And Lance, you go back and you look at some of the stuff that was said during the season about how deep that draft was supposed to be.
It's very deep.
All we heard during that shortened season, or no, that was not the shortened season, last season. This draft, so deep. Shane Wright, da-da-da-da. So deep. That's all we heard. All the way through the playoffs. And then we get to the combine, and as soon as the combine hits, you start hearing, well, this draft really isn't that deep. This draft isn't that deep. This draft, next year's going to be better. This draft. All of a sudden, after selling the draft for a year, for 2 years, this draft isn't deep anymore.
Yep.
So if you want to know why I'm not buying this is a deep draft, that's why I'm not buying this is a deep draft. I'm with you, Darkness. I'm still there.
Yeah, I think he could be like a Hughes in New Jersey, 30, 35 goals, that kind of a guy. But there's people that call him elite. Hughes in New Jersey. He's not elite. He's not McDavid. He's not I consider 3 or 4 guys in the league elite. Elite is supposed to be not only the best at this time, but they can be considered some of the best all time. That to me is elite. And then you have stars after that. And then you have really good players after that. I think he's going to be a top 6 guy. Like I said, they can score 25, 30 goals. I would not doubt that in a couple of years. But this guy that's going to lead his team to the promised land, no, I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not there yet. I also didn't think Jack Hughes was going to come in
That's
and be
what
the
I
type
said,
of guy
Justin.
he has
Yep.
turned into.
Yep.
Took him a couple of years, though. We could all be wrong about Bedard. But I'm not sold on him either. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Great. I don't have a problem being wrong.
Yeah. You know what?
Ovechkin is elite. Hughes is talented. Yeah, I'll go with that. Hughes is talented.
Hughes is talented. He's a star, but not elite. And you know what? Hey, not everybody can be the top 2 in the league every year, like McKinnon. And like Ovechkin and like McDavid and guys like that. You have 2 or 3 of those guys most seasons. You don't have.
If you want to know why I'm not sold on the draft, if you want to absolutely know why I'm not sold on the draft, helping you rebuild your team, I got 2 words for you. 2 words. And I think these 2 words will tell you exactly why I'm not sold on using the draft to rebuild your team. And you're kind of saying what we're saying. Darwin Keller, I think. Are you ready? In fact, this comment is what I'm about to say. Edmonton Oilers. How many #1 overall talents do they have?
How many cups do they have?
3 or 4, right? How many top-notch, high-end guys do they have? Look they have 2 of the best top 5. They have 2
of the top 5
players in the league.
Yep.
Maybe even top 3. I think you could go McDavid, McKinnon, Drysdale.
Yep, and they've had 10 or 12 top number 1 picks or number 2 picks since the year 2000, and what has it gotten them?
Right? They've been to the second round. They've been in the second round twice. They've been in the third round once, and they got swept. Right? Our thoughts on Buchnevich locker room comments. Are you talking about the comments that I brought up the other day? Did you hear those, Lance?
I've heard several comments from Blues players. What was this one again?
This was Buchnevich did a interview, and I want to make sure that Ryan's talking about this, right? McDavid did, or not McDavid. Sorry. Buchnevich did an interview. Okay, Buchnevich did an interview with Kelly and Panger. After his 4-assist game. And he said a couple of things in that. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up and let you listen to it, Lance. Give me a moment. I've played it before because I think it's, I'll tell you what, for me, what he says, and I got to understand that there's some, what do you call it? Lost in translation stuff that you could pull in there. But for me, the things that he says are so raw, so real, so telling. It's not even fun. Okay?
Comment too, because I haven't been on your show in a while on Toropchenko and Thomas's comments, because they've both been getting eaten alive over their comments too.
Yeah, I thought Thomas said the right thing.
Yeah, and I really don't have a problem with Toropchenko. He's right. Yeah. He's absolutely. You know what? If a young kid comes out and says that shows me he's got guts and he wants to win.
Yeah, I have no problem with Toropchenko either. My problem was Berube. Right, and we'll get and pay attention now. So this is Bush. Bush responded on taking faceoffs, and Guy had a bad take. I don't think I had a bad take. I think I had a very good take. So here are the comments. I'm going to play them fully. Now, me and Lance can comment, but I'm going to kind of shut up because I've heard them. I'm going to let Lance comment because he hasn't heard these before. So yes, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Are you ready, Lance?
Yep. Okay,
so here you go. These are the comments that Buchnevich made to John Kelly and Darren Pang after the game against the Sharks.
All right, nice 6-3 win for the St. Louis Blues, along with Darren Pang, John Kelly upstairs. Pavel Buchnevich joined us downstairs. And a two-part question, Bucci, did you know that you set a career high with 4 assists tonight, number 1?
I didn't know that one, but it's pretty nice. Finally we get the streak ended, and hopefully it's keep going winning games, and some good mood coming to our locker room, and we enjoy that.
Now, Butchie, we've watched you play for a couple of years. Do you enjoy getting an assist as much or more than scoring a goal?
I think like everybody knows that in our organization, we always coaches coming to me like, why you didn't shoot? I just like to give some dishes to my partners, and I'm not a great shooter, like for example like Tarasenko, so I just give it to like guys who can score better than me.
You're a pretty good shooter. I mean, the other night Thomas made a nice little pass to you and you rifled it under the bar and in. Don't sell yourself short, pal.
It's just
Hey, you talked about the mood. We talked about this in the open that, I know the season hasn't gone the way you wanted it to, Bucci, but you got to win hockey games to get that feeling back of getting together and going into a locker room and smiling and having some fun. Is that what you were just talking about?
I just think it's we have to find something positive emotion. I know like it's like tough season for us right now, and positive emotion after wins. You can smile and in the locker room, joke around. Before, and nobody gonna blame you. So I think it's nice to have that mood, and I think like after wins, it's always like that. Good for us.
Yeah, for sure it is. It's still a game of passion and like you're right, having fun and goofing around and what have you. I got another one for you, because with those injuries that took place when Robert Thomas took the puck in the mouth, And then Josh Levo took the skate in the face. You had a couple of shifts at center ice. Remember earlier in the year when you had a couple of rides at it? Was that fun for you to get to the middle of the ice again, even if it was for a couple of shifts?
They asked me like, do I want to play middle? I say I don't mind. I play. Rangers draft me as a center, so I don't know. I play a long time in center. Now just when it's pro hockey coming, coaches doesn't really trust young guys, so I moved to the wing and doesn't play in the center anymore. But I think I like it. I think in the center you got more touches the puck and so far it's not bad, undefeated. Yeah. Win against Edmonton, win here. Undefeated.
That's a really good point. And you got to be in better shape being at center ice, don't you?
I'm fantastic shape. Always fast cheap.
My goodness, we love your dry sense of humor,
yes,
Pavel. We really do. And thanks for coming on tonight. We appreciate it.
Yeah, because you came on the show, Pavel, you get to buy us dinner on this road trip. You get to buy us dinner.
Okay, maybe we'll see.
Okay, well,
okay.
All right. Pavel Buchnevich. All right. He's a character. He really is, and a good hockey player.
Yeah, I didn't understand a word he said. So,
but it was funny, right?
Now, what did you pick up from that, Lance? Did you pick anything up? There's two big things I picked up from that.
There's one thing I picked up was he said that the coaching staff for Brewery Bay doesn't trust young players to take faceoffs, and I don't like that.
That was number one.
I don't like that. And then he's telling about him taking shots or not taking shots, and passing the puck and being the assist guy, and he's happy, but you can tell he's not fully happy.
The other comment was nobody going to blame you. Yes, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, nobody going to blame.
Them winning the game, going in, and nobody being blamed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. That was the one that for me. I think that he hit on a couple of things here.
He did.
Right. I think the first one that he hit on was nobody blaming you. Right? Walking into the locker room and getting the blame thrown right at you for the loss. You didn't play good. You didn't play good. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. Now, one time, and I'll tell you what. And I said, Jose, I preface this with there could be things lost in translation. Didn't I say that, Lance? I prefaced this with that. So I wanted it to be there. But the way I took this was, first of all, I know he said face-offs, but I don't think it's just face-offs. I think the coaching staff's lack of trust of younger guys is obvious. And this is the one thing that I will point to. If you want to know why I put so much on the coaching staff this season, it's the 2-goal leads. Because this isn't a this season problem. This is a 3-4 year problem for this team. We have had an issue with 2-goal leads going back to 1920. The first full year that Berube is a head coach, we have had this 2-goal lead issue. Mm-hmm. And we saw it against the Sharks. We saw it against I forget who the two teams they played, Florida, or was it Florida or Carolina? We saw this team get 2-goal leads and just let them go. Let them go because they go into a prevent defense. And I saw in the third period of that Sharks game, the beginning of that third period, absolutely, positively, from puck drop, went into a prevent defense.
Yeah, and what I've noticed a lot of times with this coaching staff over the last couple of years, when they do have that 2-goal lead, they've been playing their top lines a lot. The guys are getting a lot of minutes. They need a little bit of rest in that third period to allow some of these younger guys to play that haven't gotten as many minutes, and they're not doing that. So when you not only tell your guys to stand back and protect the lead, but you keep your best players on the ice all the time and extending those minutes, it's going to bite you later on in the season because those older players need a little bit of rest. And those young guys have to learn. You can't just expect them to throw them in. Oh, you've been here 2 years. I know I haven't played you on the penalty kill, but I'm going to start playing you. And then a goal goes in. Well, I'm not playing you anymore in the penalty kill. And this is funny. We're going to build through the draft, but our coaching staff doesn't trust young players. Does that make any sense?
None. That's my issue. That's why I think that the way to build this team isn't directly through the draft, but through the AHL.
Then I think Armstrong's lost his mind. He made his comment, was it yesterday or today? We are not going to be looking at any free agents this summer.
Said that on Friday.
Free agents. Are you kidding me?
Well, even he didn't say he wasn't going to look at any. He says, I don't see us making much of a splash. Agent market.
Well, still, you still have to look, and if there's somebody there, you've got to have your scouts still out there all the time looking. And if there's somebody that's a third line player, and you see him up and coming, and that team doesn't want him, why not take a run on him? They've sent so many mixed messages over these last weeks since Tarasenko's trade.
Yeah.
I did not.
Messages. What did Rivers say about Vladdy? Remember, I'm 4,400 miles away. Ah, crap! I didn't tied it up.
I didn't listen.
I didn't
to that
need
one.
that. Did not need that. Broken stick too. I didn't see what happened. So what, Matt Lowe? What did he say? I don't know. Did you hear Rivers' comments today or any of that?
No, I've heard some last week. He said.
What was it he said last week?
I don't remember off the top of my head, actually.
Did it have something to do with him being locker room cancer?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember. I don't think he said any. I do remember making a comment that the locker room's different since he left, if I remember correctly, if that was him that made that comment.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure the locker room's completely different since.
But all I know is the Rangers love him. The guys in the Rangers love him. I've not heard one player say he's lazy, he's bad in the locker room, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. The only person that said anything negative was Boomer about him not running back. If Boomer would have watched that play, the whole play, and realized that Tarasenko was secondary to that puck going in, it was somebody else's fault of why that guy got that puck and was racing in to get the goal. It wasn't Tarasenko's fault.
See, and to me at this point, I stop because I think that right there, I don't see. This is the take that to me that this is where guys, you're just fanning the flames. To me, is what this is. Basically, that he wishes O'Reilly best and a deep playoff run, but he couldn't say the same for a guy that doesn't want to wear the blue note. That's not what Tarasenko has never ever said. That he didn't want to wear the blue. In fact, if you listen to Tarasenko's comments after he was traded, if you really listen to Tarasenko's comments after he was traded, you would have heard him say how much he wanted to stay here. Everybody keyed on the wrong thing. They keyed on, I was never going to re-sign in St. Louis. They keyed on that. But what he said after that was, they never offered me a contract. Okay. Everyone keyed on that. What you had to really do was go back to what he said before he made those comments. Because what he said before he made those comments was so much more profound, had so much more weight, and everybody skipped it. I've only played for one team in my career. I don't like change. Change is not good for me. I wish I did not have to change. Wow. Powerful words that everybody ignored. Had St. Louis offered him a contract, he'd have negotiated. Absolutely, positively would have negotiated. Right? It sucks that he's out. He's on my teams, on my fantasy team, so I'm losing him. It sounds like Art wants to lean on guys. He is locked into contracts to perform while these younger guys start developing. Absolutely, Jose. That's exactly what he's doing. I just don't feel he has the right coach from that.
You have to play them. You can't play them 6 minutes a game and expect them to get better. And you can't pull them in and out of the lineup because they make a mistake. That's not the way to coach young players.
Matt Lowe, I am friend. I don't know if friends is the right word, but I know Rivers and I've had private conversations with and I'm not going to say anything more than that. I'll just leave it at that.
I know Jamie, and I'll tell you that comment shocks me if that's what he actually said.
That is, Matt Lowe, That's not true. It is not true. It is what has been sold to the fan base.
Are we still at this 2 years later?
No. This is what's been sold to the fan base. And Matt Lowe, I'm just trying to let you know that that's what. And from a little bit of inside that I have, the inside knowledge that I have, I absolutely know that that's what was sold to the fan base. Oh yes, way to go, Calgary! Get that goal in. I just want them to score lots of goals and win the game. All right? I just want them to score lots of goals and win the game. Because I'm hurting in my fantasy team right now. Well, actually, I'm going to get points back when Bennington plays, hopingly. But I need Bennington to have a really good game against Arizona.
You know,
I need him to start Bennington against Arizona.
You know, I watched that game with Toronto where O'Reilly broke his finger.
Yeah.
He's lucky it wasn't worse because he was right in front of the goalie trying to screen the goalie. He wasn't trying to block a shot or something. He was trying to screen their goalie, and it hit him. He had his hand kind of back, and it hit above his palm on his finger. And I'm shocked he didn't fracture his palm, the palm of his finger there.
Atlow, here's the problem. He accepted that trade because the Blues didn't offer him a contract.
Yeah.
He said that.
Yeah, and he
said that. Had he been offered a contract, he stays. He said that too.
And with that being said, he did not want to miss the. I know for a fact he's told somebody this. He knew the Blues weren't going to make the playoffs since they didn't offer him a contract. It was getting close to the trade deadline, and he figured the Rangers are probably going to make the playoffs. I want to make the playoffs. If I don't like it in New York, then I'll be a free agent and go somewhere else. He didn't really want to leave because I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now. When was the last time you seen a player go, I want to leave. I hate this place. I can't stand it. I want to leave. And it takes the team 2.5 years to trade him. That doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. Right? No, and you know what? I bring up, who's the guy? Patrick Laine.
Yeah, Laine. Yeah.
Right? Look what he did in Winnipeg. I don't want to play here anymore. Well, you know what? We'll trade you when we're ready to trade you. What does Laine do? He goes out on a shift, skates to his end, skates back and climbs back in. That's what a guy does when he wants to be traded. He doesn't go out and lead the team in goals and points.
No.
Have his best point season of his career.
No.
Right? I put right now, I said this a couple days ago, and I don't know if you heard it or not. I originally said that I put the blame 50, 30, 20. 50 on Berube, 30 on Armstrong, 20 on the players. I have now changed that.
Mm-hmm.
I am now 40, 40, 20. Right? I am 40% on Berube, 40% on Armstrong, and 20% on the players. I think Armstrong, and a lot of people sit there and go, well, this team would have never made the playoffs. This is a 109-point team that really lost one major piece.
Mm-hmm.
This shouldn't be a team in the bottom 10.
No.
When there was the issue with the coach, I'm sorry, he should have swallowed his pride, should have gone to ownership and said, we fucked up. If you want to fire me, but I got to let Berube go because there's a problem. I know we're going to have to pay him, and I think it's only like the total contract was like $8 million. It's not a huge, it's not like he's making $5 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry. Golf King, that was the mistake they made. I don't know why they didn't negotiate with Montgomery. I do not know, and I'll tell you this. I admit how wrong I was on that. I am telling you right now, I was completely wrong on that. Montgomery has gone to Boston, and he has just completely turned that into an offensive juggernaut.
I told you he would.
I mean, they are an amazing team.
Yeah, I told you he'd be really good.
Right? You were right, and I was wrong. I just
because I had talked to some players.
Montgomery's the coach of Boston. He's got them. They're the fastest team to ever hit 100 points.
Yep.
They're challenging the league record in points and wins.
Mm-hmm.
Benner's contract's not god awful. I disagree with.
God.
Look,
He's like, okay, guys, listen to this. It's like the 10th to 12th highest contract, okay? But between the 10th to the 22nd, there's only about $1 million difference. So it's not an outrageous contract. It's not Carey Price or Bobrovsky's $9, $10, $11 million.
hold on. I'm going to pull this up now. So stand. I want to pull this up now. Active players, sort by cap hit, spending. Where we go? Position. Okay, so I'm going to go over and read all the goaltender contracts that are above Bennington, and then the ones that are below him.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Matt Lowe, you're way off. You're not understanding the goalie position. And I appreciate your remark there. $6 million for an 800. He's not 800. He's higher than 800. Number one. Number two, you got to look at those games. Did he lose all those games for the Blues? Were all those goals his fault? I would say on most nights, Bennington gives up 4, 5, 6 goals. At least 50% of those goals, and a lot of times 70% of those goals are on his team in front of him making mistakes. I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, just real quick. I'm going to tell you right now. If Jordan Bennington wasn't in goal for this team this year, this team would be where Chicago is. I guarantee it.
Oh man, I'm going to blow your mind. I'm about to blow your mind. Okay, here we go. Carey Price, number 1, $10.5 million cap hit. Bobrovsky, number 2, $10 million cap hit. Vasilevsky, number 3, $9.5 million cap hit. Josh Gibson of Anaheim, with a $389 and a $909 this season, $6.4 million cap hit. Matt Murray, who they have is in Toronto, right? $6.25 million cap hit. Hellebuck, 6.1. Bennington is 7th, well, tied for 7th. Him and Markstrom both have $6 million cap hits. Markstrom for Calgary has a $294 and an $890. Bennington has a $328 and an $895. Calgary has a much better team in front of him, and their numbers are comparatively, especially their save percentages, are comparatively close. Bennington has a little bit better defense. Now, Jonathan Quick, making 5.8 at number 10, has a 348 and 877. Right? The Gerskin of the Rangers, making 5.6. Marlikins of Columbus, 415, 879, making 5.4. Cal Peterson for the Kings is making $5 million, and he's played 8 games this season, or 10 games. He's a backup, making $5 million. Campbell for Edmonton, $5 million, 357, 882.
He's
17 games, another backup, 32 games played. Actually, that's almost not a backup.
He started the season as their main goalie, but Skinner's now their main goalie.
Okay. Right? I'm telling you, Bennington's contract's not as bad as you think it is.
No, it's not. And Robert, in some instances, you're right. But
hold on, where am I at in comments? He's a 900 goalie. He's at 8, and I just looked at the number. He's at 895, so basically 900. Basically 900. I am being nice to you, but you're throwing pot shots at me. I don't know what he's saying there. And that's possible. I'm with that. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. No,
that is not terrible on a bad team. A bad team having almost a 9
Yeah.
.900 save percentage and a 3.28 goal. That's good on a bad team.
I'm not sold on Huso. I'm still not. Now, I was wrong. He's done well in Detroit. I thought he would do a lot worse. What are Huso's numbers? Huso's only making like 3.5.
He's making 4.
Not making.
He's making 4 something.
Hold on. Okay, Huso is. Where is Huso? Huso is 22nd. He has played 46 games. 23, 16, and 3. Oh, wow. Are you ready for these numbers? He's making 4.75. Are you ready for these numbers?
Go ahead, guy.
He's a 293 and a 904.
Not much better than Bennington.
Not much at all. Right? Not much at all. And that's what I was trying to get at. I think his numbers would be just as bad on the Blues. Right? I mean, there's some of that stuff that you got to look at, guys. Right? There are guys out there that are making less than Bennington that are outperforming him. Then there are guys making more that aren't.
Hey, a point.
Matt Murray sure in the hell isn't.
Hey, a .895 compared to a .902, there's not much difference, guys. Yeah. There's just not. Now a .918 to a .895, yeah, that's a huge difference.
I don't think Benner's playing bad at all. Right? I don't think Bennington's playing bad. I think he's playing good. I would like to see his save percentage be a bit higher. I really would. Yeah.
And he's brought it up.
I thought he was a 925 guy this season. And if he had a good defense, he'd have been a 925 guy. I thought he was a 2.5, a sub 2.5, and a 925 guy. I really did. But this season, this team, for whatever reason, that Winnipeg game, that 4-0 shellacking, they took in Winnipeg. Something happened in between game 3 and 4 that tore this team apart.
Well, I said he would have 2.78 to 2.87 goals against, and a 915 would be good for Bennington, save percentage.
Yeah, I wanted more. I did. Right. And Matt, I'm saying, so
hey, guy, Matt says they're looking for a 915. I want you to go through the starting goalies in the league and how many of them have 915 or better.
How many games would you say clarifies as a starter?
Say 25 to 30. 25
games?
Mm-hmm.
So let me go. There should be something here where I can
there is
pick minimum number of games played.
There is.
Right, season stats. Here we go. Games played. What'd you say, 25?
Make it 30, because I think that's considered more of a starting goalie.
30 games. Well, actually, let me look at something here real quick before I.
All right.
Bennington has started more games than anybody else in the league, and he's at 48. So I could say 30. Okay, I'm okay with 30. So 30 games played. Here we go. So here's your starters. Bobrovsky, number 1, and this is by cap hit, 906. Vasilevsky, 915. Gibson, 903 with a 389. Getting $6.4 million, getting paid more than Bennington did. He played 43 games. Hellebuyck, 919. Bennington, 895. Markstrom, 890. Quick, 877. Sigurskin, 909. Kemper, 910. Campbell, 882. Omar, 938. He's just playing out of his mind. If he doesn't win the
so far you've only named 2 or 3 goalies over 915.
3,
yeah.
And here's number 4, Saros, 917.
Yeah, but yeah.
Sigurskin, 926. Ottinger, 922.
6.
Here we go. So by save percentage to 915. 915 or higher, and there's one that I'll put in there because they're at a 914. There's 10, the top 10.
So 10
Thompson?
out of Thompson.
Thompson played in 36 games. Played in 36, not started, played in 36. Big difference, right? Played in 36 games. He's 20-13-2. He's got a 266 and a 914. Skinner is at 912. But look, I mean, when you're talking 914, so you're talking percentage points. I mean, hundreds of thousands, right?
Yep.
So you got Samsonov, Vasilevsky, Yari, Saros, Georgiev, Hellebuyck, Ottinger, Sorkin, and Omar.
10 out of 32 goalies.
Right now, 30 goalies have played 30 games or more. 30 goalies have played 30 games or more. Oh,
yeah. So out of 30 goalies that have played 30 games or more, 20% or 20 of them, that's like 70% of them are under 915.
66%.
66%. I would
under 915.
I would say
or
that
914.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, you can't count on having a 915. It's not like not even half the goalies in the league have that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
And we've got to look
it's
at
not 12. It's not 12.
Nope.
Again, Mullen, we clarified this as
30 games.
We clarified this as 30 games played. 30 games played, so it's only 10.
And here's
really
another
it's
thing.
9.
Here's another thing. I tend to watch both feeds, the home feed and the away feed for the Blues. Yeah. And you don't know how many times the other announcers will say, man, Jordan Binnington, they say he's not having a good season, but if it wasn't for Jordan Binnington, the Flames would be up 4-5-0. Or the Rangers would be up 3-0. Guys, if other media people are saying it, it's the truth. Yeah. Binnington, even though he's given up 4 and 5 goals, he's kept them in the game.
Because Binnington's having a better season than Berube is. And very rarely do coaches get paid more than the players. Very few rarely.
Coaches. Very few coaches. I think Joe Quenneville made good money. I think Tortorella's making $5 to $7 million. There's a few of them that make over 5, but there's not very many.
Jose agrees with you. Binnington has been keeping tip. Binnington's not had this team been, the team it should have been. I think his numbers are in the elite part of the league.
I think his team plays even 80% of what they should be. He's got a 2.78 goals against and about a 914 to 918 save percentage.
Okay. Let me clarify this. I believe that if we had a better defensive system or had players playing in their right positions or playing into their strengths, that it would have been better. Bob, I know that you and Matt Lowe come 100% to put very little of this on the coaches. I get that. I understand it. I 100% disagree with it. There are too many things that I have seen, and the biggest one, the one that tells me more than anything else, more than anything else is the 2-goal leads. This is a problem with this team, not just this year. This is going back. And it hasn't been fixed. If this team consistently goes in a prevent defense and loses 2-goal leads because of it, and the coaches are telling them not to do it, then fuck, those guys wouldn't be playing.
And also, how many times have we seen it get into the third period and the Blues are in the game behind by 1 goal or ahead by 1 goal, like Guy said, ahead by 2 goals? And the team falls apart and puts Binnington out to dry, and he does the best he can, and he keeps them in the game, but they lose 4-2. That's not on Jordan Binnington. That's on the offense not being able to score.
Well, no, here's the other thing, right? You want to know the thing? Go look at the last couple of games. Go back and look at all the games this season. How many times has this team been behind and been outshot in the third period?
Oh, a lot.
After these trade deadlines, 3 of the 4 games we played, we were outshot 2-1. 2-1.
It was just a firing
That
range
is a
on
system
Bennington.
issue.
Yep. That's a firing range on Jordan Bennington in the third period.
Right? That is one of the things that I keep seeing that to me becomes system issues. This is why I put so much on. Now, last season, I absolutely congratulated Brew. I said he made the changes. He did what he was supposed to do. I was all over Berube's jock last season. You know what? In hockey, your offense plays as much into your defense as anything else. And it is neutral zone. We are a piss poor team in the neutral zone. That hasn't been addressed in years. In years, that hasn't been addressed. Right?
Well,
And here's the other thing, Robert, Jose, Robert, and Matt Lowe. You got rid of Tarasenko. You guys called him a cancer. You got rid of O'Reilly. You said he wasn't playing well enough. You got rid of Barbashev. You got rid of Mikkola. You got rid of Akari. 5 players. You took 5 players off this team.
and then you're shocked they're playing like crap.
No. They're not playing better. You say it's on the players, but they took away the guys that you thought weren't playing good, and they're still playing bad.
It's like I explained at the beginning of the season. If you have a team that's underperforming and they're not injured, and that the players just don't seem to be playing well, you can put some of it on the players, some of it on the coaching. But when you have a team that has guys hurt and other guys come in, either, whether via trade or whether from the AHL, they come in and the team plays the exact same way and loses in the exact same way, it's on the coaching staff. Trust me. When players keep shuffling,
Matt
and coming
Lowe, I
in
think
and out,
at 700 win percentage, I actually think his win percentage is a lot closer to 500, like 560. But I'm going to look it up for you. Right? I'm going to look up Berube's coaching record prior to this year.
his coaching record prior to this year was 6-something. It was not 7-something. And Berube didn't coach us to a cup. Berube came in and some players that hadn't been playing well that changed things up. He's part of the reason they won the cup, but I'm sick and tired of people saying he's the reason we won the cup.
Okay, well, he's 155 and 96 with the total. That's with Philadelphia in here. I don't know where that goes to. So hold on. I'm trying to find something. Here we go. Let's see if I can look at this a little better. I may have to do this by hand, so stand by. So I'm going to pull my calculator out here. I'm going to have to do this by hand, right? And this does not count this season. These records only go to 22, right? So last season when we were 49, we won 49 games last year. 49, 22, and 11. 109 points. Oh, yeah. His overall is only 533, so I don't even think he's at 600.
He's with the Blues, he's 6-something.
I think it, well, give me a second.
I know for a fact he's not 7-something.
So, yeah, I think it's under 600. I really do. 433 minus 79. That's 272. He's played, not counting this season, 272 games with St. Louis. Write this down because I'm terrible with this.
He's never been over 665 with the Blues, so he can't be
No.
700.
No, he was 600, 592, 482, and 598.
All right, with the Blues for 5 years with the Blues, including this year, he's 609.
Yeah, but see, he said before this year. He talked about before this year.
We'll take out this year.
Hold on. So he's not counting this season, 272. 272 games with the Blues. Right?
No, so far this season, we'll see games on. Yeah, you're right. So far without this season, yeah, you're right. 272.
That's 156 wins. Let me see his losses here. I got to do this by hand. There's no way to sort this, at least what I'm looking at. So
He's had 70 losses since 2018-19.
80 losses. 80 losses, and
He's had 70, guy.
70 what?
Losses.
Sure.
2018-19, 19 losses. The next year, 19 losses. That's 38. Next year, 20. That's 58. The year after that, 22. That's 70. Or 80.
Hold on. Let me double check my math.
That's 80. That's 80 losses.
Yeah, I said 80.
Yeah, 80. You're right.
Okay, so my math was right. So overtime losses 64 minus 28. So 36. So 272 times 2 is 544 points. And Ruby has one. I'm sure somebody's already put something up and beat. That's 312. By the way, you can post comments now, Lance.
Okay.
So 348 points out of 544. 348 divided by 544, not counting this season. Oh, wow, 639.
Yeah.
That's sure
I told
not
you it was
700, but it's a
it's
lot
not
higher than I
700.
thought it would be. Right? And in the playoffs, he's well under 400.
He's 479 with Philly added in there.
Yeah. In what? The playoffs?
Playoffs over all his years, he's
466.
Yep. I knew it was
466.
Yeah.
Right. So, that's just, again, my thought process. Forwards not back checking and supporting is another issue, which leads to goals against us. At what point next season we just call it another lost season? Already, next season's the lost season. They already came out with that. Guys that were playing bad got traded. The players that were able to get pieces to get picks and prospects and salary relief were the ones that were traded. Blues, that's what I brought up. 630 is not almost 700, but it is decent prior to the season.
But here's my thing. That's great. I love regular season success. But people talk about Armstrong being the best GM ever in the Blues. We've been to the Western Conference Finals once and the Stanley Cup once in 10 to 11 years.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
It's not great.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
No, he's not one of the best coaches. I'll take Joe Quenneville and Scotty Bowman over here and Jacques Demers over him any day.
They've been to the Western Conference Finals twice since Armstrong's been here.
No, they haven't.
16 and 19.
Guy, but if I say the Stanley Cup, that's what you don't.
Okay, but you said he'd been to the Western Conference Final once. They've been twice.
Because they didn't go past that. You don't count that. What I'm saying is they went far in the playoffs with the Cup. They went far in the playoffs with the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
In 10, 11 years, and the rest of the years, they got beat in the first round. That's not great. It's just not.
They've been to the second round 5 out of the 10 years that he's been here.
But they've looked bad also in the second round.
Yeah. Right. And then, getting swept 2 years ago, or last year or not last year, 2 years ago by the Avalanche. That was bad too.
You don't see Chicago trying to get.
They're not trying to get Quenneville because they can't. And that's the difference. And tell you what, you look at Quenneville, right? You talk about Quenneville. I mean, the guy won 3 cups. He won 3 cups, and he was still fired. Right? Okay, and here's, if you want to know, if I thought Berube was the greatest coach ever, would I want him coaching next season? And that's the question I'm asking you. Do you want Berube coaching next season knowing what this team is going to be? Can Berube, and I brought this up at the beginning of the 2021 season, 2021, that short strike, or the COVID shortened season. I brought this up. That's a good question. I actually think it was totally different. I brought this up, and I'll say it again. I got told this. I didn't believe it at first, but I absolutely believe it. I got told it by somebody that I 100% trust. That on the second or third day that they were in the bubble, after a practice, the guys were in the locker room talking about their families and how hard this was on their families. And Berube came into the locker room and says, I don't want to hear a fucking word about your families. You're here to win a cup, and that's it. And no, I don't. I don't love them more than I love this team. I don't like the direction that this team has taken, because my question is, why did we take it? There was a move that should have been made that wasn't. I will not put that information out. I cannot put out who told me. But it is somebody that I 100% trust that that's what was said. And I did hear it from more than one person. I did hear it. I didn't hear exact words, but I heard something similar. So Jose, I cannot put out who told me that. I cannot do it. If I put it out, I will lose a very valuable source to me. So I won't. Maybe privately to you I will, but I will not put it out. But there was no buy-in, and I've had more than one reporter tell me that there was absolutely none of the players bought into Berube during that playoff. Bought into the system at all. None of them wanted to be there. Come on, guys. Be nice to each other. Nice. Oh, I did an hour and 45 minutes today. I didn't expect that. So I now have you set up. You can come on the show anytime you like. Can't start a show, but if we're running, you can bounce on.
All right.
Right? So you think there was just one thing to be done that would have fixed our problem? I think that it was a move. So I will address this. I don't think that it in and of itself would have fixed the problem, but I do think that it was a move that you should have made to ensure that the problem was getting fixed. Or you went and got rid of all of these players and changed your thought process completely. I think that move should have been made. They said, absolutely. Armstrong said, Thanksgiving time is where we decided to start selling. We didn't get better. We were going to sell. Well, in my eyes, you have to do everything you can to get better. And you had a mutiny on your hands. One that you tried to quell and it didn't work. You said, Armstrong said, during the 8-game losing streak, like 5 games in, 6 games in, Berube's not going anywhere and the players are going to have to live with it. He acknowledged the mutiny and did nothing about it. You don't fix a mutiny by going, suck it up, Buttercup. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You don't change morale by saying, suck it up, Buttercup. And what's bad, the captain knew of the mutiny and said, fuck it. I don't care. I'm the captain, and that's the way it's going to be. That's my issue. That's what I've seen. I don't care what coach it was. I don't care if it was Quinville. I don't care if it was Berube. I don't care if it was, fuck, you name a coach. Any coach out there. If there was another situation exactly the same as this one, I would be saying the exact same thing I'm saying right now. Plain and simple.
What gets me is this. Every time somebody talks about a player might be traded to the Blues trade for him. Berube, Armstrong, and all the fans. Oh, this player fits Berube's system. He fits Berube's system. We got to get this guy because he fits Berube's system. Why don't we get this guy because he fits Berube's system? Do you know what I hear from other GMs and other coaches and other players? I'd love to have that guy on his team because he's a great player. He's got good hands. He's got great vision. You know, he can muck it up in the boards a little bit. He's a great player. I don't ever hear somebody say, we got to get that guy because he fits in John Tortorella's system. The Blues are the only fans that do that. I don't hear that. I just don't from other fan bases that I talk to. Yeah. It's frustrating. Here's what you do. If you're drafting sixth and you see a guy there and he is the top pick, the best player on the board, you take him. You don't take a shot on a guy that's rated 11th because he fits Berube's system. You know, because coaches come and go.
First things, Golf King, when I talk captain in that sense, I'm talking the leader, like the captain of a ship. Because I was talking about mutiny. So that's what I meant by captain, not the literal sea person, right? And second of all, that's all we have on this team is a bunch of pussies. I don't believe that. And I don't think you believe that, Matt Lowe. I don't think you believe that. You're upset because a bunch of $1 million crybabies quit on your team. That's how you see it. I don't see it that way. That's the difference. You see it that your way, I see it my way. That's the difference.
And I respect your opinion, but if you think if Edmondson would have never been traded, if Maroon was still on this team, and if Perron were still on this team, that we'd be a great team. No, we wouldn't. We would not, because there's still issues. Those guys are older. Edmondson is not the player he was 4 years ago. Maroon is not the player he was 4 years ago, and he's just a piece, you know, and we've got to stop this. We need guys to muck. We need to, every forward should be a two-way forward and be top of his game in defense. You're not going to find that.
Let's make sure that we don't score any goals, but we don't let any goals in either. Well, you're going to let goals in, so you got to score goals. Well, this is an offensive league, guys. I don't know. Think about this. I challenge you. Go back and look at the past. Go back to 2004, 2005, when the salary cap came in, and tell me how many offensive teams won the cup. I can think of one. One.
Offensive teams?
No, defensive. A defensive team. A defensive system. A defensive first system. Hard checking. Don't let them score system that won the cup. I can think of one.
Well, I can tell you the Blackhawks.
Since the salary cap came in.
The Blackhawks 3 weren't. The Tampa Bay Lightning weren't.
The Devils, wasn't that before?
That was way before
the salary cap came in.
That was way before 2005.
Yeah, that was before the salary cap came in.
So we've got 3 cups with the Lightning.
Matt Lowe, all of New Jersey's wins came before the salary cap.
Yep,
all of them.
And 6 of the cups were won by Chicago and Tampa. Okay.
No. Okay.
Since 2005. So that's 6 of those cups. Pittsburgh won what, 2 or 3 of those? Pittsburgh
3.
was an offensive team. 3. That's 9 of those cups. I mean, what does that tell you? Boston, when they made it to the finals, they were a tough team, but they were not a defense first team. They were a scoring first team when they played against the Blues. They were physical, but they were a score first team.
Okay, here we go. We're going to go back to the start of the salary cap era. Right, I'm getting there. Give me a second.
The Red Wings.
we're going to go back to the start of the Stanley Cup era. I'm getting there. Just give me a second. So the Stanley Cup, or the salary cap era started in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The Hurricanes beat the Oilers. The Hurricanes in that season
Were not defensive.
Borderline.
Yeah, but they weren't defense
Borderline.
first. Screw everything else.
Right? The Ducks beat the Senators. They were an offensive team. The Red Wings beat the
Offensive.
Penguins. They were absolutely an offensive team.
And the
Right?
Penguins were against them.
Right? Penguins in 9, offensive team.
Offense.
Blackhawks in 10, offensive team.
Offense.
Bruins in 11, offensive team. Kings in 12.
They were a
Borderline.
mix. Yeah, they were a
Borderline.
mix. But definitely not defense first.
Not defense first. Defensive coach, but not
Yep.
defensive first. Blackhawks 13. Kings again, borderline. Blackhawks 15. Penguins 16. Penguins 17.
Offensive.
Right? Absolutely. Capitals 18. Offensive. Blues 19. Tampa, Avalanche, all offensive. You're looking at a system that has won a cup maybe twice since 2006.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If this system is so great, why isn't more teams used it and won cups with it?
Hey, Matt, just because you got a defenseman that's 6'7" doesn't mean you're a defensive team.
Right? Salary cap. That is important. The salary cap changed the league.
Yeah.
Right?
And the neutral zone trap did too, because before that, offensive teams won the cup.
Matt Lowe, the Pens were offensive. They were not. Yeah, they were not. They were an offensive team.
Who's the greatest two-way center ever? Please don't
Probably
say Crosby, because he's not. No.
Right? So to me, that's how I look at it. That's what I see.
Yeah.
I see that we've gone all in on a system that's won a cup, wins you a cup once every 10 to 15 years.
And Golf King and Matt Lowe, we're not hating on your guys.
No, we're not.
It's just our opinion, and we appreciate your opinions.
Absolutely.
And we understand how you come to those opinions. It's just that it's my opinion, especially since I played the game and people tell me I'm full of BS, that it shouldn't matter if I played the game.
Oh, it absolutely should.
I know a lot about this game, the ins and outs, the locker rooms, everything that goes on in a game. And I'm going to tell you, you want your forwards to be defensively responsible. You do. You want your forwards. But if you've got a guy that can give you 50 goals, you want him to be responsible, but you don't want him worrying about, okay, can I skate the puck into the zone or do I have to stay back like Kyrou does? You don't want him thinking. You want him thinking goal, 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 goal. Thanks, Golf King.
Well, hey, guys, we're going to call this. We're at the 2-hour mark. I appreciate all of you guys.
Yes, excellent.
And thank you so much.
Topics.
You guys have a great night. I love you all. Thank you for watching.
Yep.
Again, just because we disagree, we have nothing against any of you.
Well,
it's our opinion. And I invite any of you that want to come on and argue with me to come on the show. You are more than welcome. You have that opportunity. Get with me and I'll bring you on, okay? So guys, this is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and Lance, the Drop the Scott, saying aloha mahalo, and we'll see you next time on the Blue Note Fan Report.